Styles and Gallows and Anderson against Riddle and Lee and Ciampa. And even though I don't like that they did individual entrances for the baby faces, because I know Vince loves it and that's the way they do it because it treats everybody as a star, except if they're a full-time group. But they should be hot. That should be the NXT team. Riddle shouldn't come down acting silly. He should have a game face on. Should have showed some seriousness. They all should have come down together and then jumpstart. Because as it was, Riddle came down, had to stand there. Then Lee comes down, has to stand there. Then Ciampa comes down. Then he says, come on. Then we jumpstart. Well, why the fuck didn't the heels just jump out of the ring and beat the piss out of Riddle before Lee got there? The invisible wall that they talk about on AEW. That's where that comes from. People asking that same question. Anyway, I'm glad they didn't do a 6-way long because they had a lot of time to put in, but they settled down and AJ Styles and Ciampa were good together. And this match had a good pace. The heels led it. They covered Keith Lee's green and showed his strengths. This match made the most sense of any match on any TV show that I watched in this group, whether it be NXT, All Elite, Impact, if you can call that a wrestling show, or whatever the fuck. It was a good match that made sense and put everybody in the right place. And the first time Riddle got in was to make a big-ass comeback. So that really picked him up a notch. And did you love the spot where they worked out? I can't even describe how they went into it, but Keith Lee pounces AJ and AJ flies into the fucking referee. That looked like $1 million. That
was great. Yeah.
I loved that. And out of that 6-way, when they did that, and then AJ got a chance to do a little shit with Riddle, and then they do that pounce, now the referee, and he's believably out for a while. But then did you say Riddle tries the Fosbury flop dive and caught his ass on the rope and almost killed himself?
Yeah, that looked brutal. When he hit the apron, actually, was what
yes,
was brutal. Yeah,
because that apron will break your back, especially when you torque. Just one night in California on the WWF ropes, they were real ropes instead of cables. I fucking hate them. Shawn Michaels, the greatest worker supposedly in the world, they want him to pitch me over the top rope, and I'm not an aerial artist, and I especially wasn't then. But also with those fucking ropes instead of cables, it can fuck you up bad. And I'd said, I go a lot out between the second and third a lot better. Oh, no, over the top rope. So I try to get the goddamn jump and go too fast over. And because it's ropes instead of cables that you could have got some base on, I spun around, hit the side of my knee on the apron, tore the fucking cartilage, knee went out, and I had to have it drained, and I was fucking limping for 3 weeks just because of those fucking ropes. But anyway, I think at that point, what I jotted down was, because I tried to keep track of this, Ciampa was ready to put AJ away when Balor came out and distracted him, and then Balor DDT'd Riddle on the floor and showed unity with AJ. But then AJ went for the Styles Clash on Ciampa, but Adam Cole came in with a potato. He had potatoes in his boots, ladies and gentlemen. A potato super kick on AJ, and then hit the knee to Ciampa, and then was in a stare down with Balor, but there was no finish, correct?
Now that you say that, I'm trying to remember what the finish is.
No, there was no finish.
Yeah.
They knocked the referee out. These people came out and did their thing and showed their unity and stared off, but there was no finish. That took points away from me because, and the announcers were saying, well, we're out of time or whatever. Not even, my God, the match is still going on, whatever the fuck. So that was awkward. But the job that these guys did up until they were saddled with, and they could have easily closed a loophole up and had some type of fucking finish, or at least had a non-finish and had somebody call it rather than just go off the air without the match being resolved. That was very Russo-ish. I remember one time in TNA in a production meeting, Russo had wanted some kind of shit to go some kind of way, like he always did. First thing I said was, this match can't happen because you've got the match finishing, but the match never started. The bell never rang to start the match. He said, who's going to notice something like that? So I go to the talent, tell them this is what they want to do. First thing I said was, well, the match never started. So then I called Russo over. I said, tell Vince, the one observation you made about the finish he came up with. And they said, the match never starts. And he looks at me like he wanted to kill me. And I'm sure he did. And I loved those looks because it made me know that I had hate in his heart for me, despite all the things he says about his fictitious, invisible, supreme being. He hates me, and I thrive on that. I find sustenance in that. But anyway, except for the Russo-likeness of the finish, they did a good job, and that was the last 20, 25 minutes of the show.